Welcome to the world of MEGs mysteries. Open the door to suspense and thrillers, ghosts and the unbelievable.
Welcome back to MEGs Mysteries. This story's called Vanity, the Silk Scarf Murders. Douglas Cartwright rushes into the Hollywood police station, all out of breath and yelling, "I need help!" The officer at the desk says, "What can we do for you?" And in a panicky voice he said, "I need to speak to your detective in charge of the Silk Scarf Murders, now." Detective Al Brennan hears the commotion and comes out. "I'm in charge. How can I help you, Mr. No, I can help you. I have information. My mother was murdered 30 years ago, and it's the same killer. I'm Douglas Cartwright of the Cartwright Cosmetics, and she was Vanna Lauren Cartwright. Her murder was never found, but he's back. Come into my office. This is my partner, Leslie Adams. Tell us all you know and why you think it's the same killer after 30 years. Douglas says, "It's an old cold case, but the same technique was used. I know it's him. Look it up. There are one similar things that only the killer would know. I was only 20 when it happened, but I'll never stop looking for the answer and to help catch the killer. I own Cartwright Cosmetics that my father and mother started, and money's no object. So I searched and hired many investigators through the years, but came up with nothing concrete. The police just gave up and it all went cold, until now. Papers are calling it the Silk Scarf Murders, just like they did when my mother Vanna was murdered. Only now you have 5 more victims, not only one. But mother was a famous noir actress in her day, and her mother was one too. She had front page news while there was nothing to find, and then it went cold." Detective Brennan says, "Tell us all you know and we'll look into the old cold case. We have nothing else. Maybe something will tie the cases together. But tell us all you know." Douglas sighs. "Here's all my information notes throughout the years, and the police have the rest in storage. You can look for yourself. But the killer must be caught. I don't know why he's back, but he'll kill again and again." They finally calmed him down and told him the story. He'll say, "Here's the story of my mother, Lorraine Cartwright, murdered," and show them how similar the cases were. 30 years ago, I found my mother in her drawing room. She was sitting on the sofa with her head back and a red silk scarf around her throat. At first, I thought she was sleeping. I tried to wake her, and then I saw that she was dead. At first, it looked normal, like she always did. She always wore a silk scarf around her throat. She had hundreds of them in all different colors. Ever since I was little, she wore them. No matter what the weather, hot or cold, she had to cover her neck. Her vanity. Before I was born, she was a famous actress, then retired and married my father. He was head of Cartwright Cosmetics. She had an operation to remove a growth on her neck, and an ugly scar stayed. She did anything to cover it up because of her vanity. She covered them up with silk scarves. She tried everything, makeup, more operations, but nothing helped. So the scarf became her new look and trademark. She gave all chances of retiring to the movies, and her acting career was over. She even married my father, not loving him, but wanting him to find a cosmetic or cure for her scars. He was rich and had his own company. Nothing helped, and then I was born. I heard her told her friends many times that I was the reason for her retirement. I roomed her body. But she was still a beauty, but so vain. Then my father died, and she took over the company. It did well. She even modeled sometimes when new cosmetics were released, but her love of acting always stayed with her, and she was in the spotlight again. Parties, events were our lives. She took me even as a young boy, just like a puppet, to show me off in tuxedos and designer suits. "Here's my little man," she would tell everybody, as she dragged me from party to party. Then I was off to school, abroad, and only came home for holidays. That's when I found her. One Christmas I came home. I was now in my 20s and finishing up with school, coming back to take my place in the company. I just arrived home and found her dead. No one was in the mansion. The help was all out. The driver was there with me, but he picked me up at the airport and he was waiting outside in the garage at the time I found her. It was horrible. Police came, detectives, news crew camped outside for weeks, but nothing was found to catch the killer. I took over the company and still tried to help find the murderer, but it went cold, and now you have a similar murder. 5. I read in the paper, all strangled with a silk scarf, just like Mother. It has to be him. The papers all said they were all beautiful. Some actresses and models, is that right? No, the detective said. There was only 2, an actress and a model, and the others were just regular working girls. But that is not for public knowledge. The papers are wrong. Well, I hope you find them before more are added to your list. The poor girls. And then Douglas walked out. Leslie said to her partner, "Boy, he was a strange character, wasn't he?" Al said, "Yes, but we should take a look at his mother's murder. Maybe he's right about something." So they dug out the cold case files. He told them the truth. It was an old murder, never solved. 2 men were questioned and released due to lack of evidence and alibis. The mother, Vanna Loren Cartwright, was a flirt and thought she was a beauty that she once was. She had many men admirers and tossed them aside like trash when she was done with them. She was always in the gossip columns, a lot of scandals. This was when her son was off to school. She sent him away like she did most of her men. He was no longer her little man, and now in her way. She went wild at parties and made many enemies. Our victims were all beautiful young and just getting started in their lives, cut short. But why? What's the connection? They were not rich or famous. Maybe just in the wrong place, or did they just meet the wrong person? Our victims. Becca, a college student trying to be an actress. She also worked as a model. Lucy, a librarian, but is taking designer classes. She wanted to become a dress designer and go into the world of fashion for the stars. Blanca, a nurse's aide. Nothing ties her to any of them, but she was beautiful. Carolyn was an art teacher, young and had many boyfriends. The last was Florence. She was a florist. Why her? She had nothing in common either. Where and how did the killer meet them, and how did he choose to strangle them? How did he get close enough? What's the tie to the scarves he used with each of them? How does it tie to the 30-year-old murder? What's the link to these young girls? The silk scarves were all different colors. Blue for Becca, lilac for Lucy, white for Blanca, crimson for Carolyn, and a floral print for Florence. Is he trying to tell us something or just throw us off his trail? Then a breaking in the case. Another girl was targeted. She managed to get away. Cindy Brown, coming home from movies. She loved the old noir movies. And guess what was playing? A Walk in the Shadows, starring Vanna Loren. The killer grabbed her and dragged her in the alley, but she fought back. She had martial art training and knocked him down and ran for help. He was still rolling around on the ground when the police caught him. Now the killer is revealed. Douglas Cartwright himself. "Why did you kill your mother?" the detectives asked. "And why these girls now?" He smiled an evil smile. "Well, my mother made me do it. She was the evil one. All that vanity. She couldn't get over that she was not the beauty she thought she was. She treated me and all like her playthings, then discarded us, covering up her ugliness with her silk scarves. Let me tell you my breaking point. When I was 5, I had a great nanny. She was kind and sweet. We did everything together. She even taught me to knit. So I made Mother a Christmas present all by myself, a red cashmere scarf. I knew she loved scarves and always wore them. I was so proud. Then she opened it up and smirked and said, "I only wear silk scarves, you know that." And she threw it in the trash. Nanny Ann got it out and said she'll wear it with pride. Mother saw her with it on and fired her on the spot, saying she stole it and is a thief. I never saw Nanny Ann again. Then I knew just how mean and nasty Mother was. I was just a small boy. What could I do? I'll wait till I'm a man. 15 years later, and pushed aside for all those years, Mother had her fun and flings and scandals, and men. So I got my revenge, yes. I used her favorite red scarf. As I took her life, she knew just who was killing her. I snuck into the manor early, knowing she was alone. It was the help's day off. I knew her schedule. I had my driver come later, but I drove first, a rented car, and parked away from the manor and snuck in and killed her. Then I went back to the airport to be picked up by the driver, like I just arrived in town. He was my alibi. How could I have killed her? I wasn't even home at the time. Why start killing again? The young girls, Brennan said. And Leslie asked, "What did they ever do to you?" "Well now, detectives, they were all beautiful and very vain, too. I met each one of them, and they reminded me of her. So I asked them out, but only went out for my money they were. Oh yes, they didn't care how old I was. They knew who I was. I caught each of them in lies, and they were always looking at themselves in the mirror, just like she did all the time. At first they're nice and sweet, but I knew it was all an act. So I chose colored silk scarves for each of them, perfectly fitting around their necks. All scarves were Mother's favorites. I kept them all these years. I knew they come in handy. You think I'm mad? Well, maybe I guess I am. I'm just what my mother made me. I would have never stopped if that last one hadn't put up a fight. I had a nice red silk scarf for that one. So what's going to happen now? I know you'll put me away for life. Oh, that's okay. I don't have much left. I did all I wanted to do. Vanity and young girls will always take advantage of men. But in the end, they'll get what they deserve. Vanity did them in, not me." As I took him away, he smiled, and he said to the detectives, "Thanks for listening." Leslie said to Al, "Boy, I'm glad that case is finished. But there's always a new maniac out there." "Yes, Adam, sure glad he was caught. They knew deep down he would have killed many more." "Let's go get lunch. I'll pay," Alan said. Case of the silk scarf murders closed. Hope you enjoyed that story. Come back for more next time on Meg's Mysteries. Enjoy your evening.